So when you think about your heart health, what's the first thing that pops into your head? You're probably thinking about numbers, right? BMI, blood pressure, cholesterol. For decades, we've been told these are the numbers that matter. But what if they're only showing us the tip of the iceberg? What if the real story of our health is hiding just beneath the surface? Let's find out. And that brings up a really big question. Are our go-to methods for checking heart and metabolic risk? Well, are they just outdated? The research we're diving into today suggests that by focusing so much on these static numbers, we might be completely missing the earliest and most important signs of trouble. Okay, so before we jump into a totally new way of thinking about health, we've got to understand why the old way is kind of failing us. Let's start by looking at the problems with those familiar metrics we've all learned to trust. Think of your health checkup like an iceberg. Above the water, you've got the usual suspects, your blood pressure, your weight, your glucose levels. They're easy to see, and they're useful, for sure, but they're only part of the story. The real action is happening beneath the surface, with these hidden factors. Things like how your body's actually functioning and adapting. And these are often the very first things to show signs of stress, long before your BMI or blood sugar even budge. So here's the core problem. Traditional risk scores, like the famous Framingham score, they just give us a single snapshot in time. They're based on static data. But our bodies aren't static. They're dynamic systems, constantly changing and adapting. So these scores often miss those early, subtle signs of trouble. They can even give a false sense of security, especially for younger people or folks who look totally healthy on the outside but are dealing with hidden issues. The bottom line is they measure markers of disease, not our body's resilience. So what are these hidden factors we keep talking about? Let's dive in and break down the four big ones, the crucial dimensions of health that our current systems tend to just gloss over. First up, we've got autonomic imbalance. Think of this as your body's internal autopilot. It's the system that manages everything from your heart rate to your digestion, all without you having to think about it. When that system gets out of whack and your body gets stuck in a state of stress, that is one of the very first signs that cardiometabolic trouble is brewing. This is a really simple but powerful way to picture it. Your sympathetic nervous system is the gas pedal. It revs you up for fight or flight. Your parasympathetic system is the brake pedal. It helps you rest, heal, and digest. A healthy system is smoothly shifting between the two all day long. An unhealthy one, it's like having your foot slammed on the gas pedal 24/7. And get this, we can actually see this balance. That's where something called heart rate variability, or HRV, comes in. It looks at the tiny millisecond differences between each of your heartbeats. If you have high variability, a lot of change, that's a fantastic sign. It means your brake pedal is working great and your body is adaptable and resilient. But low variability, that's a red flag. It means your system is rigid and stuck in stress mode. All right, number 2 on our list of hidden gaps is metabolic inflexibility. This is when your body's cells basically get stuck. They lose the ability to switch efficiently between burning carbs and burning fats for fuel. You get this kind of cellular energy gridlock. It's a sign that your mitochondria, your cellular power plants, are struggling, and this happens long before your blood sugar starts to climb. Third is functional impairment, and this one is super straightforward. It's just about how well your body actually performs. It's not just about not being sick, it's about being capable. And you know what's wild? Simple tests like your hand grip strength are incredibly powerful predictors of your overall health and how long you'll live. But are they part of a standard cardiometabolic checkup? Nope. And finally, we have structural adiposity. This one is huge. The big idea here is that where you store fat is way more important than how much you weigh. We're talking about ectopic fat, which is basically fat in all the wrong places. It's the kind that builds up in and around your vital organs, like your heart or deep inside your belly. This hidden fat is basically a little inflammation factory, just pumping out stress signals. So we've talked about the problem. If just looking at a few numbers is broken, what's the new model? Well, the research proposes a much more intuitive way to think about it. It's all about a dynamic balance between two opposing forces. And this right here is the heart of it. Health isn't just, not being sick. It's this constant balancing act. On one side of the scale, you have your body's resilience, its ability to adapt, to recover, to function well. On the other side, you have its burden, the structural load it's carrying from things like that hidden inflammatory fat. True health is all about keeping this scale tipped firmly in favor of resilience. Okay, so that sounds good in theory, but how do we actually measure this balance? To do that, the researchers developed a new framework they call the CORE model. The CORE model, which stands for Cardio Obesity Risk Evaluation, is the tool that brings it all together. It's designed to capture all those hidden factors we just talked about. It gives us a visual map of our health, showing that balance between the positive stuff, our resilience domains, and the negative stuff, our structural penalty domains. So on the resilient side of the scale, the model gives you points for things that show your body is strong and adaptable. We're talking good autonomic balance measured by HRV, being metabolically flexible, having strong muscular grip, and keeping a healthy waist circumference. And on the other side of the scale, you've got the penalty indicators, the burden. The model subtracts points for structural loads, specifically looking at the amount of fat sitting directly on the heart muscle and the ratio of that dangerous, deep visceral fat compared to the less harmful fat just under your skin. This all hammers home one central, powerful idea. Not all body fat is created equal. And to see what a dramatic difference this makes in the real world, let's look at some ultrasound images. Okay, look at this. This makes the invisible visible. In panel A on the left, you're seeing a healthy profile. Notice the clean, organized layers of fat and that thick, healthy muscle. Now look over at panel B on the right. It's a completely different story. The layers are disorganized, and the muscle is thin and actually infiltrated with fat. Here's the kicker. Both of these people could have the exact same BMI, but their structural health is worlds apart. So what does all this mean for you? Well, this new way of measuring health isn't just some academic exercise. It could be a complete game changer for preventative medicine. This is the key takeaway right here. By focusing on this balance of resilience and burden, we can spot trouble long before it ever shows up in traditional tests. We can intervene to improve someone's autonomic function or reduce their visceral fat way before their blood sugar is in the pre-diabetic range. It's a huge shift from just managing disease to truly optimizing health from the get-go. There's a quote from the research paper that just sums it all up perfectly. Cardiometabolic pathology begins with a loss of complexity, flexibility, and resilience. In other words, health problems don't start when a number on a lab report goes high. They start when the body loses its ability to adapt. And that leaves us with a pretty powerful question to chew on. What if we shifted our focus entirely? Instead of just waiting for the red flags of disease to pop up, what if we started actively tracking and building our physiological resilience as the ultimate marker of a long and healthy life?